All right, welcome back to another episode of the Power Sports Memorabilia Show. I am your host, Matt Powers. Thank you again for joining me. Please visit the website, powersportsmemorabilia.com. Also, can be followed over there on Instagram at Powers Autographs. Well, today I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and talk about the top 5 baseball autograph signings that need to happen here in 2022. Now, I'm talking about a send-in or a public autograph signing, so one where you can get your own item signed. And to make this list, it's going to have to have been a few years since that athlete's last autograph signing, as far as a send-in one goes. So Koufax is out. He's done a signing fairly recently. Jeter, of course, is out. He's been signing. And guys like Griffey Jr. So these notoriously usually tough names that we think of, those guys won't be on this list because they've all done recent send-in signings. I'll also share with you the percentage that I think this signing will actually happen for that particular athlete. All right. And there's also one person on this list that's actually not a player. He's in the baseball world, but he's not a player. So be thinking about who that one person is. All right. So without any further wait, let's go ahead and jump on into this list. Number 5 is Bryce Harper. Now, comment below. You tell me what is the fascination with Bryce Harper? It just seems like he's one of the guy in MLB that like everybody thinks is like the greatest player of all time. Now, don't get me wrong. Bryce Harper's a good player, very good player. Okay, he's won 2 MVP awards. He's a 6-time All-Star. He was Rookie of the Year. Those aren't easy stats to do. Okay, very similar to Trout in many ways. Very similar stats, age, and a whole bunch of different things. However, he's in his 11th year right now, and he's only had 3 years above 300. He's had some crappy years. Like in 2016, he hit 243. Trout's in his 12th year right now, and he's had 6 years above 300, and the lowest that he's ever hit is 281. All right, and he's got 319 home runs compared to Harper's 276. Harper is 29, and Trout is 30. And as far as autograph pricing goes, Harper is actually a little bit more expensive than Trout. And I know he's kind of a tougher signer. I know that, but it just seems to me, I don't know, comment below, let me know that I think Harper is kind of overly fascinated with in the industry. I don't know. It just seems a little bit too expensive. But he's currently a Fanatics exclusive athlete, so that's good. That means he's actually signing autographs. And Fanatics does take send-ins for most of their guys. Okay, so that's also a big positive there. Typically around spring training is when they accept most kind of send-in stuff for all their baseball guys. They weren't able to do it last year because of the lockout and whatnot. But so this particular signing with Harper, I give this one about a 75% chance of getting done, a send-in signing. All right. I think Harper at some point is going to have another crap year. I mean, just looking at his statistics over the course of his career, he's got a bunch of up and down. So I think he'll have a crap year at one point, and then I think Fanatics will have a bunch of autographs to sell, and I think they'll open it up at that time. Okay, now whether that's this year or next year, he's actually having a fairly good year this year. I don't see that opening up right now, but if he has kind of a 250, 260 year, maybe next year around spring training time, they open it up and we can send some stuff in for Bryce Harper, which would be really cool, actually. And there's probably a bunch of Harper fans out there who need some stuff signed, some cards and tickets, and they want to get something special done. So that'd be really cool to see it get done. It's been quite a while since Bryce Harper has done a send-in signing. I can't even remember one. It's maybe it's days when he's with Onyx back in his rookie year, but I don't know. It's been a while. All right, number 4 here. Another Fanatics guy, seeing a theme here. Shohei Ohtani. This one would be just absolutely massive. I mean, can you imagine an Ohtani send-in signing? Oh my gosh, geez. He's having a pretty good year this year. He's got a sub-3 ERA pitching. He's hitting around 260, which isn't all that great, but it's similar to what he was hitting last year for his MVP year. I think at this particular time, he's got about 8 home runs. So he's having a pretty good year, all right? Now, this one, it would be huge. Like I said, the amount of cards that I would get for people to have him sign would be astronomical. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of cards for people to have done, and it would be a big one. You can get like his name in Japanese and all that kind of stuff. People would really, really dig that. Again, a lot of it, just similar to Harper, kind of depends on how he does this year. If he's got a similar year to last year, I can't really see them opening up signings of his for send-ins. But again, if he has kind of a crap year and the Angels are really down there and they've got autographs to sell, it makes sense to open it up and take some send-ins for maybe a spring training signing. This one, I'm probably at about a 40% chance that they open up an Ohtani signing for send-ins. A little less than 50-50. It really just depends on how he plays and how the Angels end up doing. All right, number 3 is one you're probably not thinking about on this. That should be on this list, but he is, and he is definitely a sought-after autograph. Is Vin Scully, the legendary Dodger sportscaster, the only non-player on this list. He did a signing about, I want to say about 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago. And it was pretty expensive back then. It was about $500 an auto, so it was not cheap. And got a bunch of orders I did for baseballs, and there was a couple tickets and photos and kind of stuff, like kind of usual stuff. But he wasn't able to sign any of the baseballs. Like the one thing that everybody wanted, he just had a hard time holding the ball and couldn't sign. I think out of the ones he had to do, I think 95% just did not get done. So I had to send all those back to everybody. He just couldn't sign them. Right now he's 94. So, the given that signing was he was 89 back then, having a hard time signing baseballs. I can't see him signing baseballs this time around if he was to do a signing. And it would be tough to see. Like if a guy is just not healthy and towards the end of later years in his life and struggling to sign autographs. I mean, autographs are fun and all, but they ain't that important. I mean, come on now. I don't know about you, but towards the tail end of my life, I probably would not be wanting to sign autographs. It should be like the last thing on my mind. So I give this one probably less than 5% chance of ever happening. It probably should be 0. It's just, again, he's just not going to be able to sign baseballs, which is the majority of stuff that people would probably want to get done. So in my opinion, it just wouldn't make sense to do any signings like that. Now, granted, if he agreed to do one, people would probably send stuff in, of course, obviously, but I just don't see this one happening due to his age and health and the fact that he just can't sign those baseballs, which is kind of really unfortunate. All right, number 2, one of my favorite players. You hear me talk about him on Instagram all the time, Mr. Barry Bonds, and baseball's all-time home run leader. Yes, you heard me say that. He is currently baseball's all-time home run leader. 762 home runs. Not in the Hall of Fame, though, although he should be, but that's a whole nother debate. Bonds' last signing was in 2014, so 8 years ago. It was actually a public signing, crazy enough. So it was back in the Bay Area. It was a pretty popular signing. If I could go back in a little time machine, what I would get done. During that signing, I just got a couple jerseys, I think. I really didn't do a whole bunch because it was kind of an expensive autograph for me at the time. I think it was like a $300 auto back in 2014. So right now, he'd probably be, north of 500 for sure. But here's the thing with Bonds, right? You can say what you want about him. But, a lot of people don't like him. I get it. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? That's a whole nother debate. I hear both sides of the argument. Is he baseball's all-time home run leader? Again, I hear both sides of the argument. But the fact is, a lot of 500 home run collectors need him to finish out pieces, or they want to add him onto pieces. And back in 2014, tickets and rookie cards, they weren't very popular to get signed as they are nowadays. So you would be seeing a ton of those getting signed. Can you imagine getting Bonds home run tickets done or getting some of his rookie cards? It would just be a very, very cool sign. It would be super fun to have. But man, it's going to take someone with serious cash. I mean, Elon Musk kind of cash to be able to make this happen. Bonds, he's got his own website, which you probably, I don't know if you knew that or not, where he sells memorabilia on there, and he doesn't even keep that stocked. So imagine he can go direct to consumer. He barely puts anything on there. So I don't know if he would do one. I put this one. I'm hopeful in this one. I'm hopeful something will get done this decade because I think there's someone out there that's willing to take a risk in doing this one and pay Bonds a lot of money to get done. I give this one a 76.2% chance of getting done. I hope you saw what I did there, but I really think this one's going to happen this decade. So we got about 8 years to see if it pans out, but I really hope it does for all the collectors out there. Whether you like the guy or not, a lot of collectors need him on stuff, and would be really cool to do another public signing so you can meet him and do all that fun stuff. All right, number 1. Oh man, this one would just be absolutely epic. Oh my gosh, please happen. I don't see this one happening either, but Barry Bonds' godfather, Mr. Willie Mays. I don't need to tell you who Mays is. The last send-in signing I think he did was back at a signing in New Jersey. I think it was, I want to say 8 to 10 years ago. It's been a while. And he had a tough time signing then, and he had a tough time signing when I took part in a signing back in 2006, 2007. His eyesight just wasn't all great. He had a hard time seeing the baseball, so he'd sign him in Sharpie, which, of course, is a big no-no, but at least he can see the ball, and that artwork actually turns out pretty good in the Sharpie. I know it's not great for long-term as far as the autograph ink goes, but they're actually kind of cool with the Sharpie. But he's 91 years old now, and I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. Back in that signing, 06, 07, he was $700 for bats and jerseys then. So think about that. That was 16 years ago. I mean, he would be a 1,000+ autograph right now for sure. And it would just take a massive amount of money to get it done. Now, the other side of the equation is if Willie even wants to sign. Willie is a tough guy to get to agree to sign anything. So the money is important to Willie, don't get me wrong. But the harder thing is convincing him to sign. And I don't think anybody has that ear or has that way into his camp and to be able to convince him to do a signing. So sadly, this one's going to be 1% chance it gets done. Should probably be 0. It would be a big risk too for a dealer. And don't get me wrong, Willie sells, and once Willie, does pass, of course, obviously autographs do go up in value, but it would be a big risk. Like $1,000+ autograph, you'd probably have to pay Willie over $1 million to get it done. And again, I just don't think Willie is up for signing. He doesn't want to sign. So if someone's out there that can make it happen, please make it happen. I will help you and I will offer it out to everybody. But my gosh, it would be so expensive. But that would be your one chance to get a legit Willie Mays autograph. Of course, I've done YouTube videos on Willie. Be sure you're careful on the stuff that you buy out there, especially the stuff with the Say Hey hologram on them. You're looking for an autograph with a nice little flair to it, not that little box style. So go back and watch that video on the channel here on Willie Mays autographs. All right. So that's my top 5 of autograph signings for send-ins that absolutely need to happen. I'm sure there are more guys that could be on this list. So comment below. Let me know if there's somebody I'm forgetting that absolutely needs to be on this list. And don't forget to visit the website, powersportsmemorabilia.com. And also give me a follow over there on Instagram at Powers Autographs. And I will see you on the next episode.